Hello, everybody!
Hey!
Welcome to the very first Naturist resort session in human history.
Yeah!
That sounds really awesome.
I'm nervous and I'm excited.
To give you a little bit of background, on Naked Wanderings on our website, we talk a lot about all the nudist places, the naturist places that we visit around the world, and how great they are, but it's also always from the same perspective.
Yeah.
It's always from the perspective of the guest through our own eyes. So we were wondering, what is it like through the eyes of the people who work there, of the owners? They, in the end, they live together with naturists for a big part of their year, of their lives, in fact. So we want to know how they feel about naturism, what their experiences are, who they are, how the resort is, and stuff like that.
Basically, we want to give you the opportunity to talk to the faces behind the name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before we introduce our guests for tonight, a couple of housekeeping things. This event will be recorded, but we only record ourselves and our guests, so nobody of the participants will be in the video, and it will be published afterwards on YouTube. You can ask your questions in the chat. There will be a Q&A at the end of the event, the last 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
But you can ask your questions whenever you want, ask them in the chat, and we will ask them to Mark and Sam at the end of the session. Of course, hate speech and indecent behavior is not tolerated. And we hope that it's going to be a fun event.
We are sure that it's going to be.
We are quite sure it's going to be
Absolutely.
a fun event. Important to mention as well is that we can do all these things thanks to the support that we get on Patreon. So if you want to support us, if you want to support these events or anything else we do for Naturism, please have a look at our Patreon. That's patreon.com/nakedwanderings.
And also, if any of our patrons are in this meeting right now, thank you very much for supporting us already.
Definitely. And if you're watching this, the recording of this on YouTube, please click the subscribe button, click alert notifications, because then you won't miss anything of what else we do in the future.
Absolutely.
So let's introduce our guests for tonight. Mark and Sam, how are you doing?
Hello, we're very well, thank you.
We're good, looking forward to this.
There you are.
Hi. Sorry, I was busy arranging everything. How are you guys? I'm very excited to have you on our first show, because you guys were one of the first naturist resorts we ever visited in the Naked Wanderings, start of the Naked Wanderings. So we're very happy that you are the first in the naturist resort session as well.
Thank you for inviting us.
No,
you're welcome.
That was great. How many years ago was that you came to visit Vassaliki?
Yeah. It was 2017.
The summer of 17.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's ages ago.
Yeah. Longer than I thought.
Is it Vassaliki or Vassaliki?
Vassaliki.
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 Yeah, it's a female name for of the owners of the property's mother, so it's named after his mum.
Okay, that's nice.
We'd already named it and we took it on and we thought, why change it?
Yeah, definitely.
So for the people watching here who haven't been to Vassaliki, please tell us what it is. What is Vassaliki Bear Brilliance?
So we've got 12 rooms. We're on a fairly big plot of land in the countryside on the island of Kefalonia. So we have a lovely view of the mountain right opposite all the rooms, and then the sea round to the right-hand side. We've got a pool and a hot tub. We've got a pool bar that does food, breakfast, lunch and evening meals. We run excursions, so we do a naturist boat trip every week, and we do a barbecue. We go out to the local restaurants together. So yeah, it's a fun place. We like to have a nice social atmosphere near the pool bar and just quiet relaxation during the day, pretty much. We're in a very quiet part, very local villages, so it's not busy or anything, which is lovely. It's really nice.
You mentioned the social atmosphere, and it's interesting because in our review we wrote 3 years ago, we said that a visit to Vassaliki is not really like going to a naturist resort, but rather visiting old friends
That you've never met before.
that you never met before.
Yeah.
And it's cool that we've seen the same things, the same comments, we've seen it coming back. Even today on Twitter, somebody said something similar. So it's a community feeling is really important for you, right?
It is. It's important that we're part of it as well. It's part of our life being at the resort, and every guest that comes along becomes our friends. So we thoroughly enjoy it, but we also are aware that people are on holiday to have time together, time relaxing. So we try not to encroach on that as well. So I think we try to get a nice balance of just complete relaxation during the day, and then come and join us at the bar and enjoy the evening.
I think one of the things when we first started, we wanted it not to be a hotel. We didn't want it to be necessarily a resort. It was the feeling we wanted was that the people that come to visit us are coming to stay at our house or our villa. We put lots of things in place. And one of the things we do is an honesty tab at the bar. So if you want to get a beer, there's a beer machine. You just pour yourself a beer and you mark it down. We have staff that do serve, but we wanted the guests to almost feel that they're at home and they can just help themselves. If they want a beer, there you go, help yourself, or some wine. So we've done a lot of work to do that, and Sam and I and some of the staff and Naturist as well. So you will see us taking part in the boat trips. We come down to the pool. We use the pool. We use the hot tub. We sit with the guests around the pool. That's the bit we want to do. So that's the bit we really focus on.
I think we learnt that from our first Naturist visit was to Brilliance in Crete. And we went away from there and said to each other, what sticks in our minds the most from that stay? And one of them was the waiter that served us breakfast every morning. He laughed, he joked with us, we got to know him. And for us, that was quite an important element. It made us feel special.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to be able to impart that to our guests as well.
Do you already had in your mind that you wanted to open a naturist resort when you were visiting your first naturist resort?
Yes.
When we went to Vitruvius, we'd made that decision. Initially, we had the resort. We were looking at sort of any sort of style of holiday that wasn't competing with the main market. We wanted to do a niche, a naturist resort idea. I think Sam was actually researching at the time, looking at painting holidays. It was something we were sort of discussing with some other people.
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking to see what the market was. I had just come out of the shower, obviously in the state of dress that you would be in a shower, and I just stood in the middle of the lounge and just said, "Let's do naked holidays." And we didn't really know much about nature. Yeah, we didn't know much about Naturism. We didn't really know. And Sam almost had this little light come on the top of her head and went, "That's brilliant." And that we both sat there, and I think we spent hours just, does this exist? Do people go on naked holidays to hotels?
We knew about campings.
We knew campings and we knew beaches.
Camping. You used to go to the beach in Kefalonia every time you had a day off.
But we wanted really to see, is there a good quality hotel? And so that's where we started.
Realised there wasn't enough.
Well, there wasn't enough of quality. There's been campings. We wanted to do something with more comfortable accommodation. And that's really what it was. It really was a light in the head moment when we just. I still remember standing in the middle of the lounge naked, shouting it,
and not regretting it ever since.
Oh
no,
definitely not.
No. I think going to Nikos in Vitruvius and meeting. We went as customers, as guests. We met the staff. We met the other guests, obviously on the site.
We were bowled over by the other guests.
Yeah,
how friendly they were, how sociable they were, how we were the youngest by far at the time, but it made not an ounce of difference.
Yeah, I think
by the end of the 2 weeks, I think from dining on our own the first night, we were at a table of 10 every night for the last 10 days. Yeah. So
and to me, it was
what we enjoyed.
It was a no-brainer after that for us. It was just like, this is running a resort with nice people who all they really want is a nice room, comfortable place to stay, and they just want to be comfortable without their clothes. I thought, this is
And like-minded people.
yeah. I think it just seemed to me a no-brainer after that. And after we'd been to Vitrumatis, we then did a lot more research. We went to other resorts, went to some bigger places to see what they offer. We went to some very, very small places to see, obviously they're restricted to what they could offer. So we just gaining information and then sort of come up with the product we've got today with the help of friends. We asked them all to write down something they really loved on their holiday, not a Naturist holidays. What did you love on your last holiday? What did you think was quite good and what did you hate? And we took all this information to sort of, you know, one of the things people hate is bagsying sun chairs. They hate it. Nobody likes it. So what we thought, well, we've got to solve that problem. How do we solve that problem? Easy. We put more sun chairs than there are people. This problem's resolved. Yeah. So we just took this information from all the people. I don't know if you remember when you were there, the watermelon around the swimming pool, when we could take fresh fruit. That was something someone told us, said, oh, someone just came from the bar with some fruit and it was really nice. And we're like, okay, we can do that. It's not this.
Just but it means so much for people. Yeah.
Yeah. If we forget to do it one day, oh, do we know?
There was one funny incident where we'd all got out on a boat, the staff had gone out on a boat just for a jolly for 2 hours in the afternoon. We just thought we've had a really, really busy time. We wanted to treat the team and say, look, let's just go and have a break together and chill out just for a couple of hours. But the boat broke down and we couldn't get back. We did eventually get back to the resort and we were an hour and a half late doing the melon. And by the time we got back, we're like, we're really sorry. The first thing people said was, well, we wondered where you were and you didn't do the melon. It's a key thing that's supposed to happen, and that's the only reason they realised we were missing is because we didn't get the melon.
So the first thing when you wake up in the morning is, okay, I have to make sure that there is enough watermelon for it.
Yeah, it's got to be there.
Amazing.
And do you still, after all those years, think the same about Naturists, that they are so nice people after working with so many Naturists?
Yeah. I think from the moment when we sort of were in Vitrumatis to now, we are just blown away by the people that we've met and the things that we've been invited to and things we've done because people have invited us to their places or invited us out on their boats or invited us, we went out on someone's aeroplane. I mean, it's great. We're out on a private plane. I mean, it's not the lifestyle that we live. We've got guests who do come out on our aeroplane. So we've gained some amazing life experiences from the people we meet from the resorts. And it's just amazing. People. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. You both worked in hospitality before, the Naturist hospitality. What's the biggest difference, you think?
I don't think there's anything. I think it's
apart from the people.
I think that's probably the easiest.
Far less difficult people to deal with.
Probably the easiest customers we have ever dealt with in hospitality.
We've been working during lockdown in a hotel here in the UK because we needed work. We couldn't open last year, and although we mainly are doing breakfast, which is generally very easygoing, very friendly. You listen to the rest of the team and what they had to deal with the night before and the handovers of people and their attitudes, especially during a lockdown. You'd think everyone would be so much more laid back. Each time we'd come home going, can you believe people are really like that? And we don't experience that at the resort at all. We're very lucky, very lucky.
You also work with a team. Are they also Naturists?
Not all of them, no. We have had full Naturist teams in the past. We've had full non-Naturist teams in the past. We've got a bit of a balance at the minute. We've got mainly people who live on the island, English though, who live on the island. But they are part of the family. They're part of the Naturist family. If you talk to any of our guests, they will say that even though some of them may not go Naturist, they are still bantering, they're still fun, they've still got the right outlook on life. I think that's quite important when we recruit them. So yeah, it hasn't affected people's holidays that some of them aren't naturist, definitely. Some of them have tried it because of it, which is great.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I remember the story of Maggie.
Yes, yes.
The workawayer. Yeah.
Yeah, she came and volunteered for us for a month. And she had never tried Naturism before. She was trying to try new things in life, and she took to it straight away. She was fantastic. She was from Chicago, wasn't she? Yeah.
What an amazing girl. We just had, I don't think I've ever had a month of work where I was in so much pain from laughing. She was just crazy.
She was
this
just
girl.
full of life.
Yeah, you know, she was living life to the full, and we just had some great times working with her. And she came to us. We found out later on that she had some body confidence issues that she wanted to deal with. She said, "I've got these things in my life. I want to deal with them." And she said, "This is how I'm going to deal with it." And I'm like, "Whoa, okay,
She did."
And she just got there and she just stripped off and got on with the job. And yeah, the guests loved her. We loved her. She was brilliant. We'd love to have her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We still keep contact with her regularly.
And I hope that had a positive influence on her as well, for herself, for how she feels about herself.
Yeah, that's great. Well, when you read the reviews of Vassaliki, it comes back a lot of time. Like, hey, this was the first time I was trying Naturism. I felt very safe. How do you cope with those kind of people?
I think we're ideal for people who want the first time Naturist experience. We're the right size that they can go and be independent. If they're a bit nervous, they can go and hide away, be on their own for a bit. But they can also come and be sociable. And they can be sociable with different people each night of the holiday as well. You don't have to stay with the same people. You don't feel stuck with the same people. We're also quite laid back in that we do say to them, take it at their own pace. And we find that if you don't put that pressure on, they actually would probably strip off quicker than if you force them to. I think they'd probably hide away completely if you force them to. We've never had a scenario where a new person hasn't got into it at all, have we?
No.
Not within a day, pretty much.
So people can wear a bathing suit when they are with you when they're not used to
it? No, none of them want a bathing suit. I think they've more sort of come down in sarongs or maybe men in shorts. They just kind of lie there covered up to start with. Then they slowly realise that while they're lying down, absolutely no one's paying attention to them because we're sort of quite a big pool area, so you're quite spread out from the next set of chairs. So you don't feel like anyone's in your personal bubble. So then you tend to find they then strip off for that, and then they have to be nude in the pool. So that's another way to break the ice. Very much, you find quite often, if we have friends come out who've never tried it before, it's always strange in front of someone you know really well. First thing we do is we probably stay in our uniform initially because we're probably serving lunch or something, and then we'll say to them, right, let's all get in the pool together. And that breaks the ice very, very quickly. You very, very quickly forget that you're all new together, and then that's it. No going back. We've had lots of friends like that, haven't we? Which has been great.
So you are located on Kefalonia Island in Greece. How is Naturism in Greece? Are there organizations, clubs, nude beaches?
There is a Greek naturist organisation it's not overly active. There is a small amount of movement, but it's generally, we find it's quite busy, sort of Athens way. They're not quite so sort of coming over to the islands so much. So there is they got the Greek Federation. There is other resorts. We've got the Vitrimatis, which is the biggest one. And then
which has its own private beach. So they have probably the only official beach in Greece, pretty much.
We've got Panorama, which is just south of us on Zakynthos. There's a tiny little place on the Peloponnese as well, and
Naturist Angel Club.
And then Angel Clubs, which is in Rhodes, which is I think about 32 rooms. They're sort of a little bit smaller than Vitrimatis and a bit bigger than us. But so it is growing. It's growing, but it's quite slow. I think the Greek people look at anything that's not what we all class as the norm, and they're a little not so sure. So it takes its time. We had the same problem when we started. People are a little bit, well, I'm not sure we want you to do what you're doing. And once they realised that they didn't see the nudity and they didn't really see, the only thing they really saw was people needing facilities and spending their money, they see, you know, now they love us on the island. So
yeah, they realised that we bring clients that wouldn't otherwise have come to the island, and that they are good customers for the island as well. And we've had good working relationship with the same mini markets, taxi drivers, car hire companies as when we started 15 years ago. And it's amazing. And we wouldn't have started if it wasn't for friends of ours who we'd worked with on the island in the past, who stood up for us in the Chamber of Commerce meeting when they were discussing this resort that was due to open the following summer. And they said, okay, I don't know a lot about it either, but give them a year. Let's see how they get on. Let's see what they do. And of course, they had absolutely no objections after that, luckily.
But I think there was naturism on the island.
In beaches.
On the beaches before we opened the resort. I lived on the island for 9 years even before I met Samantha, and there was naturist beaches, not official, but people that were gathering together in certain parts of the island, and they were nude on the beach. So it was there. I just don't think it was really being looked after properly, and the facilities there for people that wanted a full naturist experience. So we've probably got about 8 or 9 beaches. The sand moves quite a lot, so some years some of the beaches just don't exist, and the next year you come back and they're huge. So
we've got 4 key good ones.
4 key good ones, yeah, that are regular, and then there's other ones that spring up if the weather's been in the right direction in the winter. So
but you find the Greeks tend to accept that. They know that the family beaches are in the key areas where you park, where the facilities are, and that it's likely if it's a long enough beach, then it is, because a lot of them are coves and you can't go nude on those. But if they're long enough beaches, if you go to one end or the other, you will find naked people. I think the Greeks are used to that.
Yeah.
And they have absolutely no objections to that. They just don't want you on their main beaches, which is fair enough. They have the families there, the tavernas there, churches there sometimes. So yeah, I think that otherwise they're pretty easygoing about that. And there is lots of younger Greeks that we see on the beaches regularly, the same groups of people, couples and guys, all really nice, all know who we are and very friendly and chatty whenever we go down, and don't give you any trouble, which is great.
Do you think naturism in Greece is getting younger or getting older if you really look at the Greek families or people?
I think
it's younger.
Yeah, the demographic, if you look at Greek naturists, they're younger. Most definitely younger. I just don't think that for the older generation it was so taboo, that they never got into it, and they're still not involved with it. And I think it's something that's coming sort of not fashionable, but things are becoming more acceptable in the world. Everything's becoming more acceptable. And so the Greeks are sort of, there are people who want to go nude on the beach, and they're like, hang on, it's actually acceptable. There's now places that specialise in doing it. So yeah, there seems to be a lot more younger couples, younger people down the beaches, and when the Greeks come to us, they tend to be younger couples.
Nice. It's great to hear.
It's good for us.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Well, we've seen it in other places as well, where naturism is not as popular as in Western Europe. That the demographics tend to be younger, when the movement is younger, the people who practice it are also younger.
Yeah.
About your guests, this is something few resort owners like to talk about, but we know that you don't have many problems about it. Well, how do you handle single people? Are they allowed at Vassaliki, or is it only couples?
Yeah, no, we have regular single guests as well, come year after year.
I think we've sort of got the opinion that we've had 2 issues with single people, or single men in particular, in 15 years. So I don't think it's that bad, and we dealt with it very quickly and it was done. All the other singles we've had, men and females, have been nothing but perfect guests. They contact us at the start in a good way. They come and stay with us, and we tend to find they take part in the events that are going on. They eat at the resort with us. They stay for the barbecue. They want to go on the boat trip. They want to sit with the other guests and socialise. And we've never had problems with them. So we don't want to overrun the resort and just have a whole place full of either single men or females. So we just monitor it by the way we do the bookings, and we've never had a problem.
2-3 singles at a time,
Yeah.
maximum. And we can guess quite often how they talk to us, how they approach us initially, whether they're going to be the right sort of people for the resort. And if we're unsure, we have a phone conversation with them before they come. If we can't gauge it from the email communication or the chat communication we've been having with them. So we tend to be able to very quickly pick up on the correct vibe. And then once they come out, they're lovely guests. They're really good guests. As we said, we have lots of them that come regularly. Yeah. And some that weren't singles initially, some who unfortunately have either separated or widowed. Of course, they are always going to be welcome with us. They're part of the family, so absolutely need to come back. And then you've got to think about it the other way around as well. The singles who are coming now might get a partner in the future. So you don't want to exclude that. That's not fair.
I think if you treat a single person wrong now by just saying, no, we don't want you, is a big business mistake. I really think the resorts need to just think about what they're doing, because all these single people might not be single next week, and you've lost the customer. And we can't afford to be losing customers before we've got them in. So I think they need to just chill out a little bit with it all. It's got to be monitored. It's got to be managed, of course. But yeah, I think it's the way forward. And like we said, we've never had a problem with it.
Yeah. Would you say, like, for all the single people who are watching, listening to it, like, get in contact with the resort, would that be a good tip?
Yeah. I think what the issue can be sometimes is with the way we communicate nowadays. Everything's done through email or through tweeting or Facebook or whatever, which is brilliant. I think it's a good way of marketing and communicating. But things are misread, especially in emails. And when people write us, they might write us an email saying, "Oh, I'm a single guy. I've been a naturist for 20 years. I'd really like to come and stay with you for a couple of weeks," blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. Now, we read that, and I think if people sort of keep going on about how they want to be nude, I like being nude, I like being naked, and all this sort of stuff, it's a bit off-putting. You sort of think, are you coming here for the right reasons? Because in our opinion, and this is only our opinion, Naturism is social nudity. This is what it's always been called. And so the first word is social.
Yeah.
So we want people who are going to be sociable. Okay, and we're going to be nude. So the nude bit, yeah, it's the social side of these people who are going to come in because they want to take part in what the resort does. And primarily we are a social resort. So we do get our fair share of very, very entertaining emails, which we keep, and we read them occasionally just to cheer us up if we're feeling a little bit down. But
that's
we get
the book that comes one, maybe.
But we can pick them out quite quickly. We've been in it long enough, and even with a phone call, we get them. We get some strange phone calls, and with the old classic, "Are you naked right now?" And you think, "Oh, please." So I think genuine naturists know how to communicate with naturist resorts, and they just need to know what they're talking. We get people who contact us who have got no idea what naturism is about, and you get all the questions that we all know, the questions that we get asked about men's bits and pieces and all this, and you're like, just read up about it. There's enough information online. Find out what you're doing. Find out what it is, what naturism is, and then make contact with the resorts. Yeah. And they'll be fine. I'm sure they will.
For the record, the "Are you naked right now?" question.
No way! It's freezing.
we get it every single time when we're in contact with the media.
Yeah.
Every single news reporter asks, like, are you
Yeah.
naked right now?
Yeah, it's like, oh, seriously.
We've had that with me.
That's when we were on CNN. They didn't ask that.
No, CNN didn't ask it.
CNN didn't ask it. So yeah,
They were
which
the
was
only
good.
ones.
We've done a radio station. That's what we've done, our local radio station, and we get told that, asked that every single time. No, we're sitting in a radio station
Yeah, why?
in February. Why would we be naked?
But I have another question, Mark and Sam. Are you naked right now?
That's for the podcast.
It's cold out there.
You mentioned before that you wanted to create something different than a campground, something more upscale, like a hotel. And for us, Vassaliki was the first naturist place we went that was not a campground. And for a long time, we had no idea that there were other places and campgrounds. And that's something, it keeps following us. Like even this year, we talk to people in France and on a campground. Like there are places like Vassaliki, La Viña in Spain and stuff like that, like hotels. Like, are they naturist hotels? And then the question that comes up is, how does that relate to the nature and naturism? Being in concrete buildings and stuff like that.
Well, I guess it's the grounds. The naturism is generally to do with sun, water, and sand, isn't it? Sun, sea, sand. I think that's the main element. So for us, it's the big green grassy area around the pool. It's the fact that your views in sort of more than
180 degrees.
More than 180 degrees is all greenery. It's all woodlands, mountain, the sea. Yes, okay, it's a concrete building that you're actually sleeping in, but I think the rest of it is all about being with nature. It's swimming in the pool, it's going down to the beach, going and swimming in the sea. It's, yeah.
I think bringing naturism into sort of like a semi-hotel environment with the services, and we, you know, our clientele we have is predominantly over 60. I think people just get to a certain age where camping or going in a caravan or a tent is just something they don't want to do anymore. They want a little bit more comfort. They don't want to have to walk across the field to go and have a shower and stuff like that. And it is, I think they're a great holiday. We've done camping and caravan and we enjoy it, our family enjoy it. But I think when you get to a certain stage in your life, you sort of just think, I just want something really comfortable, really easy, and I want my dinners cooked for me, and it's just a different level, I suppose.
And we're not an indoor hotel either, so it's to get from your room, you're stepping outside. So you're stepping outside, you've got to go outside to the reception, go outside to the pool, to the pool bar. It doesn't feel like a Travelodge hotel or a Ibis hotel where everything is indoor corridors. So hopefully it still feels as part of nature, I hope.
And you also keep the ecological aspect in mind. Yeah. We read about the beach cleanup you did.
Yeah. We try and implement something every year. So we've been doing beach cleans.
We do our naturist beaches every year, don't we?
Yeah, probably about since we started. So the two naturist beaches that are near the resort, we go down, we have a team of volunteers that come out in sort of end of March to April, and they help do all the work that needs to be done on the resort, because the place is completely, obviously, derelict for the winter. So part of that work is we'll work in the morning on the resort, and in the afternoon we'll grab a slab of beer, we go down the beach with a load of bin bags, and we just pick up the plastic bottles, bits and pieces on the beach, and then we'll all sit and have a cold beer, and hopefully the water's just about warm enough to have a little swim. That's then developed from the boat trip that we do every year. Every year we have a big motorboat that we take out. They now have taken the same principles as us, and now we go with them, and we go and clear up an island near it, a little tiny island near us that we go and we visit, and we have a little beach barbecue on it. It's really cool. But we go and clean that up as well.
Before the season starts, yeah.
So that's sort of the plastic bottles on the beach was sort of the one that we've been doing for a while. We're trying now to, we changed all our toilet papers, hand papers to a more eco-friendly system. And we're reducing the bottled waters that we seem to have in Europe everywhere. So we give the guests, we give guests something similar to this. with Vassaliki branded on it, and then water machines around the resorts, and they pay a small fee, 4 or 5 euros, I think it is, and for the whole stay, and you just fill your water bottle up, keep repeating it, because a big bottle of water costs €1, so you've only got to take 4 bottles from the machine to get your money back. It's just we're just trying to reduce the plastic
the amount of
goes in the first place.
we were taking to the bin was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was all plastic water bottles, pretty much.
Yeah, it's single-use plastic, and that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just try our best. We recycle all the glass, the cardboard, and the plastic bottles that we have. They are recycled from off the island, so we make sure that our waste is separated in the rooms and down at the bar. So we just try and do what we can. It's really difficult because not everybody does it. We haven't got time to rummage through the waste, but I think if everybody just does a little bit, it makes a big help.
Yeah, absolutely.
About naturism in general, do you have the feeling that it's changing, that it's getting younger, older, that people experience it in more different ways?
In general, not only on the island or...
Well, we're hoping that just generally the feeling of being more accepted is coming out in all walks of life these days. The Black Lives Matter, the LGBTQX campaigning, all of that is all about people being accepted for who they are and the life choices they want to make. So that, I think, in the long run should be a positive impact on naturism as well, because we can also stand up and say, this is who we are, this is what we enjoy doing, and we should be accepted for that. So hopefully it will become more acceptable. It will then filter down to the younger generations that they can give it a go and not worry about being judged for it. I think it's changed over the years, or we think it's changed a lot over the years, in that we get people who come to the resort who only come to us maybe. A lot of them want being on beaches, they want to give a resort a try, they try it, they love it, but they won't go home saying, we're now naturists. They don't necessarily want to label themselves.
Yeah.
They will maybe only ever come to us. They may go and try other places afterwards, but a lot of people just enjoy that way of life on holiday, but don't necessarily want to turn around and say they are naturists. I don't think anybody has to stick to a label or a club anymore. I think that's how the market's changing, and therefore the people who offer services to our market have to be changing with it as well. They don't have to expect them to become a member of a naturist society, because I don't think people are becoming members of any sort of society, let alone naturists these days. And that way, hopefully, we'll get more people, because we'll get the people who want to try it out, but don't want to be labelled and therefore are too frightened to come and try it out. So if we don't need to label anymore, then maybe we'll get more people giving it a go, I hope. Is there anything you want to add to that? Did I say it all?
The label thing,
do you see it as well?
We noticed as well. You're absolutely right. Younger people, they don't want to put that stamp on their forehead like, hey, I'm a naturist, or I'm a vegan, or I'm a yogi, or I'm this or that.
Just me.
Yeah, it's just me doing things that I like, and I want to be appreciated by myself and by society.
Sorry, I was going to say, and hopefully then those people will try naturism as well as trying veganism. You know, there's much more options available for people these days. So I think in that way, hopefully naturism can grow, but in small pockets, individual pockets, doing their own little things rather than coming together as a big conglomerate. Which means it's not to measure.
Do we really want to encourage more people to naturism?
Yeah. Yes and no.
This is a...
We don't want crowded beaches. We don't
want on my beach.
We don't want loud music or beach bars on naturist beaches necessarily. But yes, because we want to still be in business in 20 years.
Yeah. I think it really is. I think we need to encourage people to give it a go. Do we want to finish up where the Naturists are on the main part of the beach with beach bars and pumping music?
No.
Or are we quite happy, just sort of happy to walk 5 minutes down the beach and having a bit of peace and quiet, and probably got the best beach anyway. Where we have the 2 Naturist beaches near us, it's a beautiful beach. It's got a little beach bar. They do play music, and we go there a lot. We love the little beach bar, and we love the music.
So I'll step away from work.
Yeah, but we want to go to a little bit of peace and quiet down the far end of the beach. So yeah, I don't know. We've got to keep bringing new people in. I mean, we
don't want it to die out.
We don't want it to die out. Obviously, that's not good business for us. But yeah, maybe not too many. Not too many.
So we need to stop working.
Yes.
Sorry, no can do. It's not the agenda for 2021. Sorry.
Do you think COVID will have any influence on how people perceive naturism?
Not naturism directly. Holidaying, yes, as a whole, depending how comfortable they feel, depending if they vaccinated. I think a lot of our guests are desperate for holiday, having missed out last year because they were either shielding or they're just conscious of or being careful of travelling. So once they're vaccinated, I think a lot of them are gagging to get back onto their holiday, luckily. I mean, we had probably 70% of our bookings from last year moved this year, and I haven't had anybody since they moved turn around and say, we're not comfortable, we still want to come. It might still happen yet, but they've all kept their bookings. So that's really positive, I think, really positive.
I think what came, I mean, obviously, the COVID thing is you know, we're all sick and tired of hearing about it. We just want it all to go away. I haven't met anybody that doesn't agree with that statement. But one thing that's come out of it for us is, we are a business. That's what we are. We are a business. We have to make money for us to live. But we just could not believe the number of emails and phone calls we got this summer from guests. It was unbelievable, and it made us feel, we've always known there's a good little family there, like a little group, but we just didn't realize how big that little group was. We were inundated with well-wishes.
Yeah, all the calls were
it was quite,
it wasn't about the holiday,
quite touching. Yeah, don't worry about the holiday. No, we understand.
Are you okay?
Are you guys okay? And all they seem to be worried about is just make sure you're there next year. Make sure you're in for next year. Don't, that's all they seem to be worried about. And it was lovely. It was so nice. And now we're just desperate to get back out there and see these people again. So it's a bit frustrated at the moment, but it was, so something did good come out of it for us. The fact that we realised that there was something very, very special with what we're doing. So we're really, really pleased that bit came out of it.
But we hope it doesn't change people's holidays too much. We're aware that we're going to have to put PPE in place to a certain extent. We don't want to put any of our guests at risk or any of our members of staff at risk, absolutely not. But we also don't want people to feel like they're going to be coming to the clinical holiday either. So we're going to have to get that happy balance. Yeah. A very good friend of ours, Nick Batchelor, who also does all our health and safety for us, has always said, you've got to show that you care, because we do care about people's health and safety. Make sure you put everything into place, but don't sanitize the place. Don't lose the feeling of the place that people love. And we worked very hard on that for the health and safety side. So hopefully we can then apply that again when it comes to the PPE and people's safety with COVID. Yeah. We hope we don't lose that atmosphere at the bar by social distancing, but we also don't want to put anyone at risk either. So it's going to be an interesting summer, very interesting summer.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go.
Get in your car. Take the dog.
I'm okay now.
It's a time machine.
I would just like to mention in between that if somebody has a question, you can ask it in the chat. We would like to start a Q&A, but nobody's asking questions, which probably means that we ask all the right questions, which is great.
That's lovely private messages.
Meanwhile, we continue.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
So Vassaliki,
We're just having a look at our little list about what. Oh, Brexit. We want to talk about Brexit a little bit. I know that doesn't apply to you guys, but a lot of our guests are British, and we want to obviously reassure. I think most people have been paying attention anyway to the fact that you are not going to need a visa to go on holiday in Greece. You can travel freely as you did before, up to 90 days. You're welcome to book 90 days if you like on holiday, but I think most people will stay under that. That you just need to make sure you've got 6 months validity on your passport. Your UK driving license is fine for hiring cars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your health card is still valid. Just make sure it's in date and you can apply for a new one now if it's not. But other than that, Brexit should not change your holiday experience. It may have to change how we operate a bit, but that's all behind the scenes and nothing that people need to worry about. We can still go out there. We have our not visa, what's the word? We got our residency permits in Greece to continue our business. So we are all lined up and good to go. So hopefully UK guests will not see a difference other than the fact they may be restricted to how much alcohol they take home after their holiday, maybe.
Ken asks if Vassaliki has a website. They definitely have. You can your URL if you.
I'll pop it on the chat to everyone.
I was going to put it on the chat now for you.
We will also send an email to everybody who was in here with a lot of information and a lot of links to the things we talked about. So it will also be in the email. So you're open from April to October, I think.
The resort at the moment we've got planned will be opening on May the 1st and will close middle of October. I think the last flight off the island is the end of October. We're very dictated to by the flights that come onto the island, because the island virtually, the airport virtually closes in the winter. So the resort's going to open the beginning of May, and then we'll close somewhere in October. But we do have a new product which we launched this year. We've got a villa now. It was something we were working towards anyway, but it's something that if we've got customers that are not so comfortable being with a big group of people, they're still not sure, especially with COVID and stuff. The villa is about 5 minutes up the road from the resort. It has its own private pool and 3 bedrooms. It's like very private and secluded. So that's on the website as well. You don't have to go Naturist. So even if you've got somebody who's not Naturist, but you want, maybe you want to leave the kids there and you want to come up to the resort. If you book the villa, you get the resort experience as well. So you can still come into the resort, use the pool, going on excursions, stay for dinner. It's just virtually the accommodation if that's what you want. So it's another product. It was online and we brought it forward because of the COVID as well. So that is, I've just been over there September, painted it, everything inside, outside is all done, brand new furniture. It's looking stunning. So it's all ready to go.
But that's April.
That opens in April. So the flights will come from I think the first flight comes out March the 30th. So that's open in April if anybody wants an early summer.
But we do have to say that at the moment we don't know if these dates can be definite, mainly because of lockdown and travel restrictions. So we've got to get out there. The resort has been closed for 18 months rather than 6 months. Unfortunately, we got caught up in a hurricane in September, caused a lot of damage to the resort. It took all our fencing down, took the roof off the pool bar, and also caused some damage to some of the staircases. So we have to get out there and we've got to do quite a lot more work than we normally would in a setup. And we normally drive, because we take our dog, who's under the table down there, and a truck full of stuff. So we've got to keep an eye on when we are feasibly going to be able to cross over into France, Italy, and then into Greece, and following all their travel restrictions, whether we would need to be tested or whether we have to isolate, whatever they may be. So that may impact when we get to the island and then impact when we open. So we hope it doesn't, but we've just got to keep an eye on everything, unfortunately.
But you put regular updates on your blog, right? About the status. So people can follow how.
On Facebook and Twitter, we'll keep updated.
And normally in non-COVID times, you also get together with your guests in the winter. No?
Yeah, we normally have, actually about this time, probably in about 1 or 2 weeks' time, we're normally about to do our reunion. So we normally take over a whole hotel in the UK that's got spa facilities. So we get the spa facilities nude for this entire stay. We don't generally, although, because we've been moving hotels so that our guests can experience a different part of the UK. We've not yet managed to find a hotel that will let us go nude complete in the hotel, but we've built up some good relations, so we might be able to in the future. So at the moment, we're dressed in the hotel, and we have a big party on the Saturday night, which is basically what it all works up to, where we all dress up to the nines. We got your dicky bows on, and we've got our pretty dresses on, and we have a big party. Yeah, proper party. And then you get to enjoy the spa facilities as well. And it's a really lovely way to see all our guests in the wintertime, having not seen them since the previous summer. Just to let people let their hair down and have a good time, really, and chat to the friends they've made previously at the resort. So it's a really good party.
It's exhausting. It's the most exhausting weekend of my life.
But it's really good fun. It's like being married every year and hosting a party.
Yeah, the buzz, the adrenaline just kicks off, and it's such fun.
It is.
But when it finishes on the Sunday, we're just completely like, oh, we're finished. But yeah, we love doing it. We love doing it. We'd like to do it more, but we do it every other year. We try and do it. It's brilliant.
So we don't know whether it will happen next January. Yet. We haven't made inquiries. We want to sit back and see, and probably chat to the guests during the summer and see how they're feeling about things. Because if it's something they need to do, we'll do it. But if they're a bit reticent still, we'll hold off and do it a year later.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great to hear all the things that you do for our guests, and it's funny that you still wonder why you received so many emails from people asking.
We do it for us as well.
Is there like one thing that you would say to the people who are watching now about Vassaliki, about yourself, about the environment, about like one thing? Good question.
There's a chance for some guerrilla advertising or something like that. Promotion.
No, us. Not supposed to be a big sales pitch, this, is it?
No, not a sales pitch, but just like
yeah. And if you're unsure, chat to people on our Facebook groups, because you'll find that our Facebook group and our Facebook page, they both have a real mix of people who haven't visited and people who have. So ask a question on those pages, and all the people who visited in the past can ask you honestly without us getting involved. We'll find that doesn't really happen.
No.
I'm part of like a group that chats about Netflix, and they always ask, what do you think the Queen's Gambit's like? But nobody actually does that on our pages, so maybe it's something we should
encourage it a bit more.
Yeah. Letting people ask questions and get honest answers from not the organisers. I think that would be quite nice for people.
Steve asks if Vassaliki is at the moment right as you want it, or do you plan to still add things or change things, or?
Oh, it's constantly evolving. I think if you let any business, if you ever think a business is perfect and never change it, I think that's the start of the end, especially for hospitality. You've got to keep moving forward. We've got a list of things we want to do. You know, we can't do everything all in one go. So we just constantly maybe we look at new trips every year, just sort of see whether we can change that a little bit. We've just upgraded all of the showers in the rooms with thermostatic showers. And the umbrellas downstairs were a nightmare. They kept blowing over when the wind picks up. So we've put massive gazebos down there now, which retract backwards and forwards. So we're always upgrading small things and try and put new events and bits and pieces. We haven't been able to this year so much, or last year so much. We were open. But I think when you guys came out, we did a beach party, and we're going to admit to you now that we actually blagged that big time, because we wanted
the second one. It
was the first. We did a little test. I did a test run around with the boat to make sure I could get onto the beach, but we knew you were sort of like, when we first started talking with you, I said, look, Sam, there's these young guys, they're like really putting some good stuff out on the internet, and I really like what they're doing. Let's invite them over. And then Sam said, are they going to like it? Because we're a little bit of an older group. I said, well, I've got to come up with something really cool and funky. So we came up with this beach party idea. So we were sort of like, and it was, I know I had trouble with you two getting you off the beach. I still remember you.
That's definitely it's another topic.
I think you were
Okay.
Why?
The box of wine, I think that disappeared, but that was something that we had to think up really quickly because we wanted to sort of impress you that we are able to do stuff with younger people, but it stuck. You know, we've done loads of them now because people are like, can I do another one? We're like, no, it's just a one-off. No, we want to go again.
It was a naked wandering stage.
Yeah, it's stuck now. So we
should call it a wandering beach party.
Wandering beach party. Yeah. So we do. We try and put new stuff in all the time, and then we take stuff out. You know, we have a meze evening where we go out to the restaurants. One year we took it out just because I think we got a lot of repeat guests, and our repeats were around 80% one year. So customers that all came out, 80% had been before. So when we look at those statistics, we have to put something new, So we took the meze, I think we took out, and the beach party went in. So
and because of COVID, we might have to do the same. We might have to take out the mezes at tavernas where we used to in the minibus. We can't sit that closely in our little minibus now.
We can
walk. We could do the walking one. Boats outside. We can hire a bigger minibus. Maybe go to that's further away and include the cost of the minibus. So there are things we'll have to keep thinking on and keep evolving, especially due to COVID. So yeah.
All right. The hour almost flew by. Before we say goodbye, we have a couple of messages that we still want to share. It's not. We have a minor technical problem.
Don't worry.
While we maybe
so we have a lot of upcoming events. Already tomorrow we have Simply Naked. It's something brand new and never been done before. We will be collaborating with other bloggers and influencers from around the world and do something around naturism, promote naturism. It will be a worldwide event and it's going to be very interesting. That happens tomorrow. Next week, there are more Naturist resort sessions with Lavinia Naturist Resort from Spain. The week after, we have Grotta Miranda from Italy. And the week after, we have Arroyo del Sol from Los Angeles, California. And in case you forgot, it's already an hour ago, we can do these things all thanks because we get supported on Patreon. If you want to support our sessions or anything else we do, please have a look on patreon.com/nakedwanderings. And if you're watching this replay on YouTube, please subscribe, enable alert notifications so you don't miss a thing. Mark and Sam, thank you so much for being here. It was great.
It was
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for being
here. And hello to all our guests. We can see our guests on the screen, some of them. So hi to all you guys that have been to the resort.
Yeah, everybody say thank you.
Everybody
bye.
say thank you. Well, that's a great thing.
It was great. Thank you, guys.
Stay safe, and we'll see you all in the summer.
Yes. Fingers crossed for COVID, for vaccinations, for flights, for everything.
Yes.
For everything.
We'll be fine.
Let's get in the comments.
Awesome. It will, for sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.